Good afternoon and welcome to this webinar about the ties between urban heat, public space, and social inclusion. I'm Dale Medeiros, and I work as a senior regional planner for the Northern Virginia Regional Commission, the NVRC. We're a regional council of governments representing the 13 counties, cities, and towns, and 2.5 million people of Northern Virginia. And today we're very, very happy to organize this webinar about how cities in Germany have managed public pools. On the surface, a webinar like this, public swimming pools, might sound irrelevant, maybe even frivolous. But in light of the science that forecasts more and dramatic warming for the greater Washington, D.C. region, and the harsh effects that extreme heat will have on vulnerable populations, this issue of finding relief for the public from extreme heat on public space, it's becoming really, really important. And the relevance of this issue and this topic in this webinar, I hope also will become clearer too, when everyone has the chance to see the images of the work from Mark Riemann and Thomas Baum, our guest speakers. They're from cities like Cologne and Wiesbaden, which have literally centuries of experience planning and operating public pools for public health and enjoyment. These two cities have helped set standards for integrated designs for open spaces at public pools. These public pools have helped promote are reflected with multiple recreational uses beyond just swimming and splash parks. The public pools, or the Freibäders, they're termed in Germany, like the Stadionbad in Cologne or Wiesbaden's Opelbad. They're often close to public transportation. They include natural shading through on-site or proximate forest canopies, include a variety of pools for multiple uses like diving, exercise, splash parks. And they have multiple recreational implements, playgrounds, and sometimes they even offer dining. So today, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Mark Riemann and Thomas Baum. Mark, since 2009, has worked for the city of Cologne as a operator of the municipal sports facilities. He's the chief operating officer for IAKS, that's the Umbrella Association for German Pools and Baths. Mark has an MBA from the Fachhochschule of Cologne, and I'm not sure how that would translate in English, and also worked in Leverkusen for equivalent sets of functions in the city. Thomas Baum is the managing director for the municipal pool company Mati Aqua. Thomas is a native of Wiesbaden. He has studied public administration and is also a member of IAKS, the Umbrella Association for German Pools and Baths, and works in the Public Pools Working Group. In addition, Thomas is a member of the German Society for Bathing. Today's webinar is very, very simple. Mark and Thomas will share images of their work from Cologne and Wiesbaden first for about 40 minutes. And then my colleague, Rebecca Murphy, will facilitate the question and answer session. We look to finish this up around 1 o'clock. And please understand that Rebecca will mute you during the presentations by Mark and Cologne. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Mark, the floor is yours now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dale. Hello to everybody. I'm sitting here in the Bay Area in California on my vacation, 9 o'clock, 9 something in the morning, and we are really glad to participate in this very interesting webinar, international connections like this. We are really like as IAKS Germany and Thomas and me, for sure, together we like to not show around, but really appreciate that you are having us for this presentation of the German Freibäder. I start my presentation right now. Let me check. It's gonna be like that. Yeah, what we do in Germany, we don't do recently. Now for 200 years. So the first pools, the Freibäder, open air pools, started, and now it's a journey of 200 years from public health to urban leisure. And in the nearer distance, I think we are gonna make it to the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage, what would be very great for the German Badekultur. And after that, I switch from my IAKS presentation to my presentation of the Kölnbäder, my employer in Cologne, and yeah, I tried to keep it in 20 minutes, Dale. First, I don't have to add anything. My bio, Dale told you everything about that. That's quite interesting. Right now, we are from IIKS. That's the International Association of Sports Facilities. That's a pretty international thing. I just came back. Well, it was in early July from an international board meeting in Tokyo, where we meet in all kinds of different international sections from Europe. Almost every country is there, to Canada, to Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and also countries in South America. And what we do is we try to set some future trends for sports and leisure facilities all over the world, and try to figure out what might be best practice examples to adopt in other countries. And that's a very vivid and an international thing what we do. Yeah, what I forgot is I'd like to apologize maybe for some lack of technical terms. Afterwards in the Q&A, Dale is for sure able to help us, and I hope we apologize that we might switch to German, Thomas and me, to discuss your questions maybe in German. Should be easier for us, and then answer in English. Sorry for that. Yeah, the Freibäder in Germany, the public outdoor pools, a brief history. The first one was Loretto Bath in the city of Freiburg im Breisgau, pretty much in the south. And this was opened in 1841, so almost 200 years ago, with partial separation of sexes. And the pool more or less was used to give a health example for the German workforce at that time. And to the 18th century, like this one here, Leipzig, now in East Germany, quite a big city, one of the 10 biggest cities in Germany, had the Schreberbad opened in 1866. And at that time, it wasn't about leisure and pleasure. It was more about like, yeah, getting for sure the workforce healthy, because in the flats and apartments and where the people live, a common bath was not known at that time. So that's why pools, for all pools in Germany, they got built up, and especially those Freibäder. In Cologne in 1923, the Stadionbad here is a very old postcard of I think in the 30s. The Stadionbad was built, and in the 1920s it was built because of a social movement called life reform, or in German Lebensreform, what changed the view of living to a newer, maybe the first aspects of our modern life has been transformed then in the 1920s, because yeah, after World War One and the declining of the German Emperor at that time, it needed to be changed, the whole system of life at that time. And today, public pools are almost everywhere in Germany, and the Freibad uh,
Thomas, you've faded out. We can't hear you. Or Mark, rather. Mark, we can't hear you.
Marc, du bist immer noch stumm. Kannst du uns hören? Aber wir dich nicht.
We still can't hear you.
Okay, you
Oh, now
can't
we
hear
got
me?
you. You're back.
You got me back. Sorry for that. Sorry
okay.
for that. And is the screen still there? No, you can see me now, huh?
Yes.
Just your image, not the slides.
Yeah, I get back to the presentation. Where were we here, huh? Sorry for the trouble.
Okay.
Okay, terrific. So you have to pay admission, but the admission is quite reasonable. I think usually it could be a little more. Usually you pay between $4 and $6 for a whole day participating in the or using the Freibäder. Serious swimmer might be
Sorry,
again.
Mark, we can't see your presentation.
Okay. Jesus. Now?
That's great. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah,
Yay.
somehow serious. Pardon?
Perfect.
Okay. Serious swimmers somehow will be disappointed because usually when it's getting really warm in summer, and you have a couple of thousand guests in the Freibad, you're not always able to swim your lanes as well as you do with fewer participation, but usually Freibäder in Germany are more like in hot summer days. Everybody goes there, the whole family, from the little ones to the old ones. So it's more for fun and leisure than for sports. Some areas also restricted for non-swimmers, of course. We have quite a decent safeguard system. Even the kids, the little ones with their parents, can use all pools besides the deeper pools where you can swim. And we kind of have a problem right now for searching for the workforce for the safeguards, but this summer was quite decent, especially in Cologne, my hometown. And there are a couple of thousand, as I said, in the Freibäder, and to keep a safe environment, and that's our prime goal for that. But not unless we also allowed some toys in the pools. This young lady is not very common, but somehow there are some families with toys in the pools, so it's something for everybody. And the best thing is, bring a blanket to hang out. All Freibäder in Germany have big lawns, shady lawns with almost everywhere old trees giving the shade. So it's quite a pleasure to hang around with degrees upper 80 Fahrenheit. And this summer we had a couple of days close to 40, what is like 110 Fahrenheit, and that's not a problem, but it's very pleasant there. In all of Germany, to remind you, we have 80 million citizens, inhabitants in Germany. We have 2,800 public outdoor pools, Freibäder. That's quite a bit. And for overall, there are over 6,000 public pools. Not counted are the natural pools and bath places on the coast or in lakes. It's not counted in that amount. So we talk about like 2,800. And these are not the single pool; those are facilities. So not the pool itself. There are a couple of Freibäder which have easily 2, 3, 4 different pools for different uses, and those are the facilities we do operate. And I think 99% of those are run by the municipalities all over Germany. Yeah, as I said in the beginning, we really hope to get the German Badekultur, and the Freibäder are a good part of that, into the UNESCO program of intangible cultural heritage. That should work pretty easy. And the application, I think, is due next year, so we're looking forward to do that. So we switch to the best practice of Cologne, if you mind. First, the Stadionbad. What we do as Kölnbäder, you see it here in the upper left, is that we operate the public pools in the city of Cologne. A little more than 1 million people live in Cologne. You see the Cologne Dome, or our Wahrzeichen.
Monument.
Our monument, right, in the city of Cologne. The Kölnbäder is part of a public utility structure of a holding called Stadtwerke Köln, where all the public companies are shown in there, and also the Kölnbäder up here. And we have 14 venues, 1 water park, 6 leisure pools, 4 indoor pools, 7 Freibäder, school pool, nature pool, saunas, fitness clubs, and also an ice arena we come to later. Brifax from 2019, 270 employees, a little more than 3 million guests, gross revenue for 13.5 million euros, a deficit of 15 million, and public value we calculate for the city of Cologne for 11.6 million. Our 7th Freibäder, this is the Ostendorf-Bad. You see a tinier facility, holds 2,500 guests during a warm summer day. This is Zündorf-Bad, also complex, close to 4,000 guests on each day. Directly in the inner city of Cologne is Agrippa-Bad, with a very tiny open air space connected to an indoor pool, with also like 3,000 people gathering together on warm days. This is Höhenberg-Bad, almost the same amount, same size. And this is Zollstock-Bad, also an indoor pool connected with an outdoor pool. But during this presentation, we concentrate on those two. The left side, this is Lennpark, quite new in 2011. It's been opened, and this is Stadionbad with huge lawns and old trees, opened 100 years ago. The city of Cologne, as our owner of Kölnbäder, has an own strategy for using outdoor pools, or almost all pools together, regardless of age, gender, religious group, and physical impairment. We have to run those public venues for the city of Cologne. We have to guarantee socially acceptable entrance fees. To remind you, or to that every guest that uses a pool in Cologne has been supported with $7 from the city of Cologne to use it. So we're in a steep deficit, and we get tax money to run those public venues. All facilities, Freibäder included, are places for sport, education, and leisure. During COVID, it was the first time actually that we've been sports and leisure facilities before, but the educational aspect has arisen at that time. Because I think it was the first time with COVID and the closed venues for almost 2 years that we have a very lack of young swimmers to learn swimming. And for that reason, afterwards, we had a high educational aspect for the pools. We are quite pleased with that, because that gives us a certain different amount of interest what we do for the city of Cologne. And of course, sustainability and environmental aspects, and also the general interests, as a service for general interests, are the premises for operating our pools in Cologne. It's a little bit, we have somehow a positive aspect of our medieval town. Right here, you see the center of Cologne, and you see those circles that dates back from the Romans, like the inner circle here was the Roman wall built maybe 1500 years ago. And then there was a greater wall in the 1,000 years ago, and on this old walls, there is now a green belt almost surrounding the city of Cologne, and this green belt in the inner green belt, land park is situated, and in the outer green belt, the Stadionbad is situated. And now I switch to the Stadionbad. This is an very old plan from the 1920s, where the whole sports complex of a stadium here itself, with several other tracks and fields and sport facilities like tennis courts, were planned. And this should be the pool, the outdoor pool. And this is what it looks like today, almost the same plan. And this is Stadionbad over here in the left-hand side, and this is the Stadium of Cologne, having 60,000 seats. Was rebuilt for the 2006 soccer world championships in Germany, and all other facilities are still in use. Besides this one to the lower right, what is a cycle track, a hall or a complex to be rebuilt within the next couple of years. So Stadionbad has an old history. You see here in 1958, we had a first major renovation. It used to be one pool, 130 meters long, when it was built in 1920. In 1958, it was divided in 3 different pools. This is the Olympic jump pool with a 10-meter platform and the lower platforms. This is a 50-meter Olympic-size pool, and this is the pleasure pool for the kids. And up here on both hand sides, like a T and shaped, those were 2 pools for the small kids. And with the next renovation in 2011, we installed an indoor pool connected with this outdoor pool. This is the 25-meter indoor pool, and this is like a school pool itself. And in the background, you see the outdoor pool as well. And this is what it looks like today. We have still those 3 pools here in the same use they used to have in 1958, with lots of lawn and old trees around it. We just have a minor pool, pretty much decreased from this original size. And over here on the other side of the T, we have a beach sport complex with several beach soccer and beach volleyball fields in it. So we tried to reorganize the whole facility at 2011. What we also did at that time was having a wakeboard event. You see, with the obstacles connecting those pools, you were able to ride your wakeboard in the middle of Cologne, with nearly 8,000 people gathering on the sides for this event. Was quite amazing what they did, the guys who installed the obstacles. And what we also had at that time were the World Gay Games in 2012, I believe, the 8th one. And besides fun, there was serious sport competition. But I wanted to choose this one here because Cologne is also the German capital of the carnival. And for a couple of days in February, everybody goes cuckoo in the city of Cologne. So we had somehow a carnival with the gay games in summer of 2012. Yeah, it's a 100-year journey of popularity from old times here with the old 10-meter platform, looking pretty insane for today systems and strategies and structures. And this is what it's all about, having the kids and people and families, everybody around in Stadionbad. Something else we did almost in the Land Park, our newest Freibad in Cologne. This is Land Park. We built from 2008 to 2011. There used to be a very, very old ice skating ring at Land Park, and due to the structure of the roof, we had to tear it down and build up a new one. That's what it looks like. In the lower ground, there's a regular ice skating ring, like a Olympic ice skating ring of 30 times 60 meters. Then it's an indoor pool connected in the first floor. And on top there is like 275 meters, what will be like 300 yard rectangular, the triangular ice skating ring, and in the background you see the outdoor pool, and this is a little different right now. So we have a 50-meter outdoor pool connected directly with the kids space. This is an early plan of that, and that's what it looks like today. Don't be afraid, the water is green because we have a biological water treatment. We decided to install it there. The technique works beautifully since the last 14 years or 13 years. And it's some kind of a challenge, especially when you start in April or May with the water treatment. But it works during the day, during the season quite well. We also connected here a beach sport complex, a little tiny a food stall for the regular staff to have some gastronomy, some food offering and drink offering at that time. And the whole thing, you think it's you see here, I think that's a picture from August. All the green lawn is gone because of the use of this year. It's heavily used, and it contains easily like 4,000 guests during a warm day. Here you find some pictures, some images of this pool. The kiddie pool itself, it's treated non-biological in a traditional way because kids, and especially the younger ones, what they might lose in the water, you don't want in the biological treatment. And this is a nice picture of the rectangular shape here and the lanes, 50-meter pool. This is regular. Down left is the regular use with families, and a slide running into it. So it's almost for everything. And this shows also a kind of nice view of the one treatment system, the aquatic pool, where mussels and other little tiny microbiology is cleaning the water for this big venue. And I hope, Dale, I made it in time. I'm done with my presentation for Cologne.
That was perfect. Wow. As we transition to Thomas, I just had to ask if you have any case studies or data about the biological treatment of the pools and the history and the evolution that you might be able to share with us. But hold the response for the Q&A. I just wanted to buy Thomas time to open up his slides and let him clarify to start his presentation. Thomas, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dale and Rebecca. Just one moment. Please tell me if you can see my presentation.
We can see it just perfectly.
Sorry, but I can't see it. Now, can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. At first, I'm pleased that you have invited me to this webinar and that you are giving me the opportunity to visit one of our swimming pools in Wiesbaden. Please excuse my English. I'm a little lacking in practice and it's been a long time since school. I have for you the German Freibad using the example of Opelbad in Wiesbaden. Oh, sorry, it won't slide.
Still on the first slide.
Yes, my bio, Dale told nearly everything about my person. My name is Thomas Baum. I am general manager of the Matiaqua Wiesbaden, and like Mark, no, I'm just a member of IAKS in Germany, and this now since 2015. Wiesbaden.
Thomas, we still can't see. You're still stuck on the first slide.
Thomas, mach doch mal die, du bist nicht im Präsentationsmodus, oder?
Doch. Na, warte mal, ich mach das mal anders. Marc, könntest du jetzt sehen?
What we could do is we could transition. Why don't I open up? Well, I've got your slide deck, and you could work from mine.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for this trouble.
That's okay. Why don't you close? I'll make mine. Okay. Tell me when you want to go to the next slide.
Okay. Yes, my bio. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. Wiesbaden is the capital of the federal state of Hessen with around about 290,000 inhabitants, and it has been known for its thermal springs since the Roman times. As Matiaqua, we managed all the public pools in Wiesbaden, and we are owned by the city of Wiesbaden as a municipal company. Our facilities are in all 9 facilities, 2 indoor pools, 2 thermal baths, 3 outdoor pools, 1 combination pool with indoor and outdoor pool, and like in Cologne, 1 ice arena. But our ice arena, it's an open air arena, but that's the other theme. Okay, Dale? Yeah, we operate the public pools in Wiesbaden, and our prefects are 140 employees, and our data from 2019 are 1.3 million guests, and the gross revenue 6.6 million euro. The deficit in 2019 1.8 million euro. And there is a rich history of friendship for many years between Wiesbaden and the United States. It's elevated role since 2012. Wiesbaden becomes U.S. Army in Europe's administrative and control headquarters. And today, the USAG Wiesbaden hosts a number of military units and service organizations like the European Headquarters, the 5th Signal Command, the 66th Military Intelligence Brigade, the 1st Battalion of 214 Aviation Regiment, the American Forces Network, and several other US Air Force units. And as a special, you can see the American rules for using the Opelbad. On the right side, it dates from the years after World War II, after the American occupation. I get it for 2 weeks, and I think it's very interesting for today. Yes, let's come to the Opelbad. We call it pool with a view. You can see some impressions of the Opelbad embedded in vineyards on the edge of the forest. It offers a sensational view over the city and the Rhine-Main area. The swimming pool is 65 meters long and 11 meters wide, and the children's pool on the right side measures 5 by 11 meters. The whole area covers about 20,000 square meters. Yeah, please, Dale. It's based on a foundation by Privy Councillor Wilhelm von Opel in 1933 and was built in 1934. As a construction of pool and sunbathing area and located in Wiesbaden's local mountain. The aim has been revitalize spa and tourism, enhancing Wiesbaden's appeal and legacy in city's heritage. And you can see on the old postcards the bath culture from the 30s of the last decade. Please, the next slide. Yeah. The Opelbad welcomes visitors from May to September, open daily from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And during this period, an average of 80,000 guests are drawn to the outdoor pool. Yes. The admission prices vary according to adults, children, and concessions. For example, severe disabilities, students are over 60. And the Opelbad has 2 large wooden lawns, a restaurant, a children's playground, a sauna, and a beach volleyball court. All in all, it is an outstanding outdoor pool and a monument to German open-air pool culture. For me, the most beautiful bath in open-air pool in Germany. Sorry, Mark, but I have to say this because it's the truth. Thank you.
Yeah, believe it. Just believe it. No problem.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for your attention.
Great. Rebecca, the floor is yours and taking over the question and answer.
Great. Well, thank you again, Mark and Thomas. You can go ahead and put any questions in the chat. It looks like we have about 20 minutes for some Q&A. Maybe we'll go ahead and circle back to the question that Dale mentioned regarding the natural water used within some of the pool systems. Mark, I wonder if you could speak a little bit further to that and where that concept came from.
Well, the concept is not new. There used to be like natural pools for maybe 50 years in Germany, but private nature pools with smaller sizes in the backyard, in where you have those in your own garden behind the house. And then they had some strategies to open that, and especially in Austria. In the 1990s, those nature pools became quite popular. There was a certain movement to run public pools without any chemical water treatment, so no chlorine and other stuff. We usually put into the water to keep it clean, and that worked quite good in those sometimes heavily touristed areas. And that was the reason why we had the strategy in 2005 to build up something, especially in the circle in the inner green belt of Cologne. That area, the citizens around are quite green. Cologne right now has a mayor from the Green Party since 5 years right now. And for that reason, it was somehow also a political statement to build up a pool like this, and it works quite good. Our treatment area is almost it is the same size as the pool surface itself, and the main aim is on warm days to pump the water of the whole pool 3 times a day through the treatment system to get all out what you don't want in the pool water. And we are very tightly screened by the health system of the city of Cologne, and the water is almost perfect all year through, and we run that pool from late April to October.
Great. We have a question from Luke Peters in the chat, and he asked, are any or all of these pools designated as official emergency relief stations, and have they been put to that test in recent history?
The official emergency release stations. Dale, I need your help with that.
Go ahead, Dale.
Yeah. Are they areas where there's lots of heat? People can people go and seek relief from the heat?
From the heat,
at your pools without having to pay, I imagine, is the context of Luke's question.
No, that's not the case, because of the I think because of the green belt and the others, we don't have that problem so far in Cologne. And I don't think anywhere in Germany. We have hot days, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 in a row in summer, but they are official a relief station that you go in there without paying an entrance fee. We don't have that case so far. I mean, our weather, and I think Thomas is going to nod as I talk, is it's getting warmer, and there might be in the nearer future problems with that case, but not so far.
Yeah, no, that's completely right, Mark.
Great. We have another question in the chat. If any water recycling practices are being incorporated in these facilities, perhaps on-site recycling systems to reuse the water for irrigation?
Yes, they are. In our pools in Cologne, we use the wastewater to even treat the wastewater with on a minimum amount what you put in the system of the city, but we try to use as much of the wastewater for irrigation. And the other thing is, unlike the US, the German water treatment, I think from maybe 10,000 liters we throw away like 500, so we use 9,500 in the system itself. So we have a high amount of containing all waters in the system at that time. I think it's the same with Thomas, huh?
There are also systems to rebound the warmth of the wastewater. to pull out the warmth of the out of the wastewater.
Is there I was struck by the rules from the Americans about the pools in Wiesbaden, and one of the things that about the one of the rules that struck out first was there was no food and no bottles. And I wanted to ask how you balance the presence of food or allow drinks on the side of your pools. What are some of the general rules allowing eating, allowing drinking that you encourage or maybe discourage at your pools?
Okay, the American rules for the Opelbad are 70 years old.
No, I know.
They are quite not actual. But today, I told it, we have a restaurant, and naturally it's allowed to bring your drinks and your food within the public pool, to sit on the lawn, on your blanket, and eat and drink something, but it's not allowed to take this to the bassin, to the water. I think these rules from 1947, 1948, they Mark, help mir mal, die beziehen sich aufs Wasser. They are
They're for using the water and not the surroundings of the
Yes.
pool areas. It's the same like in Cologne. We don't want any food or drinks or even glass bottles on the platforms surrounding the water itself. But you can't avoid that the guests bringing their picnics, the food and the drinks into the pool. But we kind of check for glass bottles for sure. That's something you don't want even on the lawn or in the facility itself.
Yeah, it's an absolute no-go with glass bottles or glasses in the near of the water, because if this gets broken, you can't find it, and it's a great risk of injury.
It's a safety hazard.
Right. Great. We have another question in the chat asking if the indoor facilities use any renewable energy sources. And maybe with that, you can elaborate. Mark, you mentioned sustainable practices at these different spaces. If you could elaborate on that as well.
Yeah, we do, especially after last year with the war in Ukraine and the gas crisis we have in Germany for the last 20 years. We had a strategy to use fossil energy for running those pools. Somehow also because of a tax situation. That we are able, as I showed you in the holding system of the utility holding of the city of Cologne, we're able to take our deficit into the holding where it's compared to the winnings, the earnings, and for that reason we have to have an energetic connection with a fossil using fossil gas, especially gas, for heating up the pools. But that changed completely. Within the next 10 years, we have to use the majority of our energy from renewable sources, and we started to build in our roofs all kinds of solar systems. We are not digging the ground, but we're looking for thermal alternatives underneath our pool areas, and that's something what's going to happen all over Germany right now because of the crisis. What really forced us to switch the strategy in heating up our facilities.
Great. We have a great comment in the chat about Germans being a little bit better about following the rules, especially at public pools, than Americans, which I would
Yeah,
probably agree with.
the Germans love rules and guidelines. It's terrible, but we really, really love that stuff.
We have a few more minutes if anybody else has any questions in the chat. Another question I had was if you have any sort of public participation in the planning of these spaces, and if so, what that looks like.
Oh yeah, we do. Especially we built up quite a facilities, or we renovated and spent a lot of monies from 2005 to 2015. And with the public participation, we had in all our facilities our clubs, our swimming clubs, asked them what they want and what we can do. I mean, usually what a swimming club want is 50-meter pools and as big as it can get, and so we have to use somehow some non club common sense to get that in a quite usable way, where you can refinance it at all. We do that, and we also had public participation throughout the suburbs and the the quarters where the pools are situated.
I agree, Mark. It's the same in Wiesbaden.
I have a follow-up question on planning. I have a lot of questions still, and I don't want to hog the things, but the image you had, Mark, of the Rhein-Energie Stadium,
Yeah,
was incredible, because this is a stadium that hosts 50,000 people, and I did not see one single parking space around it. What I saw was a landscape of green, parks, and public pools. So, and in the same with Thomas's presentation of the Opelbad planted amidst the vineyards. Maybe you could just walk us through some general guiding principles, if there are any, about how you plan your public parks and with your pools, because it's remarkable. There must be a set of general guiding principles for most of your Freibäder, your public pools. I know it's not a cookie cutter and one size fits all, but what are the general sort of things: social inclusion, public transit, openness, emergency relief? What are some of the core things that you start with when you plan your public pools?
well, in Germany, I think like anywhere else in the world, I just checked it on Google Translation. The Bauaufsicht, what's called the construction supervision of the city of Cologne, where we get our planning approved. You have to have a certain amount of parking spaces to get that to use this issue. For the pool, and that is by far it's not enough on hot days. So like Land Park, we were able to have like 120 parking spaces, and in summer, okay, it's getting full, and there are by far more guests. But they used to take the public transport system. They used to use the bikes. They walk there because it's situated directly in the middle of Cologne. And as you mentioned, the stadium on the west hand side of pretty much in the west of Cologne by far doesn't have enough parking space for everybody of the 15,000 people who gather for a football game or a concert from Taylor Swift or Pink or whatever, and the people used to use the public transport, and it runs right directly like a 3-minute walk away from the venue. Thomas.
I want to say many are coming with bikes to the bath, to the public pools, and it's always a difference between older public pools like Stadionbad from the 1950s or the Opelbad from the 1930s to actual buildings or new buildings for pools, because although for parking places we have very intensive German rules today.
Well, great. Maybe as our last wrap-up question, at least in the United States, we are seeing an increasing push for free public use pools. Are you seeing an increasing interest in, developing new pool systems, or are you pretty stagnant in the pools that you currently have?
Should I start, Thomas? We see the same thing in Germany. There are a couple of cities like Frankfurt, also quite known, and they had a movement 3 years ago after COVID to allow a free use for the younger people until the age of 18 to use the free pool. In our finance system in Cologne, we said, "Oh no, please don't." But I think sooner or later, it's somehow a political statement of the public value of the city to allow that in that case. But we try to avoid this actually. In Germany, there is a saying, "Wat nix kost, is auch nix." So what doesn't cost anything, it's nothing. I think with even a small amount of a fee, you increase the value and the value shown of the guests for using this facility. And that's somehow what we do right now in Germany to have the open gate for everybody. Somehow you also have to control on hot days who you're gonna let in, and if there are people around, maybe you have thrown out the other day for misbehavior, what for sure you have, and so it's. And I would say if a city or the political movement in the city wants to have a higher public value with this fee issue, I rather would say take a small fee to show the value of the venue.
Danke, Mark.
All right. Well, we are at 1 o'clock on the dot, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. As you can tell, this webinar is being recorded, so it will be on NVRC's NVRC's website. I'll just stay in the dark here, as well as our YouTube page, and we'll share everybody's contact information if you do have any additional questions. But thank you for tuning in, and thank you again, Mark and Thomas.
Thank you so much.
No problem.